If your bobber lands near a promising spot, then races downstream before your bait can reach the fish, you're not necessarily using the wrong bait. You're probably starting the drift too late. In moving water, the spot where your rig lands, the spot where your bait reaches fishing depth, and the spot where a fish might bite are three different places. The beginner fix is simple. Cast upstream, let the rig settle, and guide it through the target water at roughly the same speed as the current. Once you can do that, river bobber fishing becomes much more predictable. Think of the current as a conveyor belt and your bobber as a delivery marker. You're not trying to park the bobber over a fish. You're making repeated deliveries through a narrow strike zone. A good delivery has three parts. The bait travels through the correct lane, reaches the correct depth, and moves at a believable speed. If you remember only one troubleshooting rule, make it this. Fix the lane first, the depth second, and the speed third. Start by finding a useful lane. Don't automatically cast into the calmest water or the fastest water. Look for the edge between them. This boundary is called a current seam, and fish often hold on the slower side while watching food pass in the faster flow. You may see smooth water beside choppy water, a narrow line of bubbles, or several leaves following the same path. Pick one short section of that boundary as your target. Good beginner locations include the slower water downstream of a large rock, the inside of a river bend, or the edge of an eddy behind an obstruction. An eddy is a pocket where water slows, curls, or even circles upstream. Fish can rest there without constantly fighting the main current. They'll often sit near the edge rather than in the dead center, so place your drift along the boundary where moving water brings them food. Stay somewhere you can fish safely and control the rod comfortably. You usually don't need to wade deep. A stable bank, platform, or shallow edge is often better because you can concentrate on the rig instead of your footing. River rocks are slippery. Bottom depth can change suddenly, and current is stronger than it appears. Wear a properly fitted life jacket around strong current and check the local rules for access, bait, hooks, and protected species. Now, choose the simplest bobber that fits the depth. If the bait only needs to hang a few feet below the surface, use a fixed bobber clipped directly to the line. It's easy to rig and easy to read. If the water is deeper, use a slip bobber. A slip bobber slides down the line while you cast, then stops at a small bobber stop. Moving that stop lets you change depth without trying to cast a long, awkward rig. Below the bobber, add a small hook that matches your bait and enough split shot to pull the rig down. Split shot are the small weights pinched onto the line. Use a bobber only large enough to support that weight. A huge bobber needs more force to pull underwater, which can make light bites harder to notice. When the rig is balanced, the bobber should stand upright with much of its body in the water and a clearly visible tip above it. The bobber's posture gives you an immediate equipment check. If it lies on its side, the rig may need more weight, or the weight may be resting on the bottom. If only a tiny point remains visible and it keeps sinking, you've added too much weight for that bobber. Adjust until it stands reliably. That little test matters more than the bobber's color, your rod brand, or having a tackle box full of different hooks. As a starting point, place most of the split shot about a foot above the hook. Several small shot create a smoother, more natural descent than one heavy lump. In fast or deep water, group more weight closer to the hook so the bait reaches depth sooner. In slow, clear water, leave a little more space between the final weight and the hook so the bait can move freely. The rule is simple. Faster water needs a quicker descent. Gentler water allows a softer presentation. Next, estimate the depth. You don't need a perfect measurement. Set the bait where you think it will travel near the bottom, then let the bobber tell you what's happening. If it drifts freely but you don't get bites, try a little deeper. If it leans upstream and stops at the same place on several drifts, the hook or weight is probably catching bottom. Shorten the depth by several inches and try again. Occasional bottom ticks are fine. Constant dragging means you're too deep. Now plan the cast using 3 imaginary marks. The first is where the rig lands. The second is where the bobber stands upright and the bait reaches working depth. The third is the strike zone beside the seam. Your job is to make the second mark happen before the third. Start by casting several rod lengths upstream of the water you want to fish. Let that first cast be a test rather than expecting an instant bite. Watch the bobber closely after it lands. At first, it may lie at an angle while the split shot and bait sink. Notice exactly where it stands upright. If that happens before the strike zone, your starting point is close. If it doesn't stand until it has already passed the good water, Don't repeat the same unproductive cast. Cast farther upstream, add a little weight, or move some weight closer to the hook. Change only one thing at a time so you can see what actually helped. Here's a simple visual demonstration you can do with any drift. Choose a rock, branch, or patch of grass on the opposite bank as your upstream casting marker. Then choose a bubble line as the route. Make several casts to that same marker and watch where the bobber becomes upright. Repeating one controlled path teaches you much more than scattering casts across the river. It also makes subtle bites easier to recognize because you learn how the bobber normally behaves. Once the bait is sinking correctly, manage the line between your rod and the bobber. This is where many otherwise good drifts fall apart. Loose line can form a large curve on the surface. Faster current grabs that curve and pulls the bobber sideways. The bait may speed up, rise, or swing out of the lane. This unwanted pull is called drag. Compare your bobber with nearby foam or bubbles. If they follow the seam while your bobber cuts across it, leaves a little wake, or moves noticeably faster, your line is steering the rig. Cast slightly upstream and across instead of straight across the river. Keep the rod tip up, follow the bobber downstream, and reel in excess slack gently. You want enough connection to control the line, but not enough tension to tow the bobber. When a curve begins pulling the rig, make a small mend. Lift part of the loose line off the water and place it upstream of the bobber. The movement should reposition the line without jerking the bobber out of its lane. Think of it as quiet housekeeping. Lift, place, and let the drift continue. A hard snap may move the bait several feet, which defeats the whole purpose of a precise cast. Rod height depends on what's causing the pull. If nearby current is grabbing too much line, raise the tip so less line touches the water. If wind is blowing the line downstream, lower the tip closer to the surface so less line acts like a sail. Those instructions sound opposite because they solve different problems. Watch the line, identify whether water or wind has control, and change the rod angle accordingly. You can also slow the rig briefly with a gentle holdback. Apply light tension for a moment, then release it. The bobber slows, the weight swings slightly ahead, and the bait may rise before settling again. That small motion can trigger a fish. Don't hold the line tight through the entire drift, though. Constant tension pulls the bait upward and toward you. Use short checks, especially as the rig approaches the head of a pool or the edge of slower water. Now learn the difference between a bite and bottom contact. A bite may sink the bobber, twitch it, stop it unexpectedly, or move it sideways. Bottom contact usually repeats at the same rock or exact point. The bobber often leans upstream before stopping because the current pushes against a rig that's stuck below. If the same thing happens on several passes and nothing pulls back, shorten the depth instead of setting the hook harder. There's one important detail that changes how you picture the whole rig. In deep or fast current, the hook may not be directly below the bobber. The water bows the submerged line so the bait trails downstream. Your bobber can reach the seam before your hook does. Casting farther upstream gives the rig more time to straighten and sink. Adding a little weight can also reduce that underwater bow. This is why simply landing the bobber beside a fish doesn't mean the bait reached it. Check your bait after several empty drifts or after any strange movement. A worm bunched into a ball may spin and twist the line. An oversized piece of bait can act like a sail and lift away from the bottom. A minnow hooked too heavily may lose its natural movement. Use enough bait to be appealing without creating a bulky wad. If the line coils as you reel in, inspect the bait for spinning. A small swivel above the leader can help, but correcting the bait shape should come first. If you're getting no bites, resist the urge to replace everything. Use the lane, depth, speed sequence. First, move the entire drift a few feet closer to or farther from the seam. Fish may be holding in a strip of water narrower than your casting spread. Second, change the depth in small steps. Try slightly deeper, then slightly shallower. Third, correct the speed with weight, line control, or a different casting angle. Test bait changes only after the rig is reaching the fish naturally. Keep each drift short and useful. Cast to your upstream marker, let the bobber settle, follow it through the chosen lane, and reel in after it leaves the target. Don't let every cast wander far downstream until a giant loop of line makes control impossible. Several clean passes through a productive stretch are better than one long, uncontrolled trip through random water. When the bobber signals a bite, point the rod toward it and reel just enough to remove loose line. Then make a firm, smooth sweep. You don't need a dramatic overhead hook set with a small hook and light leader. If there's a huge loop floating downstream, your first movement only straightens the loop. Good line control during the drift gives you a faster connection when a fish finally takes the bait. On your next trip, find one visible seam beside slower water and fish it from a safe position. Balance a small fixed or slip bobber with split shot, set the bait near the bottom, and cast far enough upstream for the rig to settle before the target. Follow the drift with your rod and mend only when the line begins pulling. If the presentation isn't working, change the lane first, the depth second, and the speed third. You're not trying to overpower the river. You're using its current to make the same controlled delivery until your bait passes exactly where a fish is waiting.